means it's okay sometimes to say, could you give me a minute? I think it's okay to always take a minute, even if it means kicking everybody out, closing the door, taking a breath, realizing, holy cow, this is not what I expected today. I didn't need this today. And saying, I just need to collect myself. So I think there's a lot of power to that people don't always use. And then you say something or do something that you regret. You know, it's not easy when you're juggling kids and a job to begin with, and then you throw in something unexpected like a breast cancer diagnosis, and it really throws off what little equilibrium you have. You have to rely on help from others. My dad always jokes, what's the point of having friends if you can't use them? And there's like no more humbling time in your life than to actually tell your family, your friends, I need help. And I think as women, a lot of times we spend so much time worrying about everyone around us that we don't take care of ourselves, and something like a breast cancer diagnosis is that smack in the face. Well, I think the most important thing is to realize that a day can bring anything. So I didn't wear stilettos when I was reporting the news, because you can wear the best darn pair of shoes and then get sent to a fire or a flood or something like that. So I dressed to move. You're on television, you want to look good, but I think sometimes it's functional, right? You know, you have to have hair that can move with you, you have to have clothes that can move with you, and shoes that can move with you, or else you might miss the story, you might miss the interview. So I always wanted to be a few steps ahead of everyone else. So some days it might be that you wear sneakers because you got to keep running. But I think it's about a clean appearance, looking good. For me, on TV in particular, it's like this. It's solid clothes that don't have a distracting pattern. That is what looks best on TV, and probably Zoom these days too. It's what you do is you want people to focus on what you have to say, not necessarily what you're wearing. So you do want it to be strong, authoritative, but not distracting. I do think first impressions matter, absolutely. People won't always remember what you said or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. So think about that. It's true, right? When you think about something, if you had somebody that really seemed engaged and listening to you, you think, oh, they were so nice the way they leaned in. Or think about it with your children. If somebody really talks to your kids, regardless of age, but they really ask the kids something, they're interested in what your child has to say back, it touches your heart. That makes you feel something. And so yeah, that's a first impression, or maybe a later than first impression, but it's an impression. And what kind of an impression do you give? That you care, or that you only care about yourself? I think if you want to change careers, the important thing is to focus not on, oh, I bet they'll be impressed with blank. Because guess what? They might not be, because that's not what they need. So you got to think about skills. First of all, if you see a job and you want to go for it, really look at what do they need? Not, this sounds awesome for me, I know I could do it. Great. Now you got to convince them that you can do it. And that means really thinking about your own skills. Assess yourself. I think there's many challenges you face. I think imposter syndrome is a real thing. I've felt it, and I know many other people have felt it before too. You think, people say I'm good at this, but am I? Was it really as good, or were they just being nice to me? I think comparing yourself to other people is a huge problem. Like, you see someone, you think, well, I just want to be like them. Well, do you? Or do you want to be like you, and are you just trying to figure out what that is? And that's a process of figuring out, what are you uniquely good at? And I think we all are uniquely good at one, if not many things. So it's trying to focus on a project that you did well, and what was it about the part you brought to the table that shows your skills. So you gotta be a little introspective when you're trying to figure out who you are and what you bring to the table. So I think looking at a success story and really kind of picking it apart and figuring out what was the part I added, and that's a marketable skill. Well, I think you gain your confidence by repetition. So my first job was in Altoona, Pennsylvania, as a news reporter in a small market, which is where you want to start, by the way, in any job, small, because you have to build your confidence, and that's repetition. I think being willing to assess yourself, and even if you're really brave, asking someone else you trust to do that assessment with you, and really be humble about it and learn from even a project well done. I put myself together every day the best I can. Some days are better than others. I've heard that from other women, and I think that's 100% true. It's not all pretty. And I don't mean by looks, I just mean how it all comes together. Sometimes, we talk about the sausage being made and no one wants to see it. I think we've all been in that position where, you leave the house and you realize you're wearing 2 different shoes or 2 different socks or, whatever it is. It's okay. And I think we have to give ourselves a break. And I think we have to give other people a break. I try to be really compassionate with the folks who work with me and for me, and understand there's going to be days when they're not 100%. Celebrate the successes and be compassionate about the days when things just aren't coming together right, and give people a break. Sometimes you just may want to say to someone, why don't you just go home? We'll try again tomorrow. That's okay. We got tomorrow, and we could just work twice as hard tomorrow and make up for the lost time, because sometimes we just all have bad days.